Hello everyone and welcome to our guide on the panel settings for Myth of Empires. Something we realized recently here at the content team is that we do a lot of individual settings, true, but we haven't ever really covered the general settings as a whole. So today we're going to take a brief overview of all of the Myth of Empire settings, and you can check them out for yourself. Base settings. Before we begin, just a reminder that if you're changing settings, you need to have your server stopped. So let's take a look at the base settings. Here's what you would expect. It's the basic settings that are out there. Your server name, your server difficulty, your server password, the different maps that you want to play on, and changing them is relatively simple and straightforward. That's what you can expect on the base settings area. And typically, this goes the same for most games that have a base settings area. This is what you'll see. Advanced settings. On the Advanced Settings tab, what you're going to start to notice is a bit more specific settings that are, well, you guessed it, advanced. Some silly ones like what you can change the leave and joining message to for whatever player joins or leaves, but some other ones like how many coins a person gets when they join, which is obviously very unique to this game. Biological settings. This area tends to deal more with the NPCs in your game. This would include the life, feeding, taming time, and even XP values that you can either multiply or reduce depending on what you want your settings to be. Of course, what's helpful for all of these settings is that there is a description for them. Time setting. I'm going to be pretty straightforward with you guys on this one. This one relates to time. How much time a corpse is able to stay in the map, how much time things can be preserved, so on and so forth. And you can change it by the interval of seconds depending on what you see fit for your server. Resource settings. What I like about a lot of these settings is that they're pretty aptly named, and resources is no exception to this rule. You can change the spawn rate for resources, you can change how much you gather when you gather them, so on and so forth. Just really anything, again, related to resources. One of my favorite things to change, though, is how quickly they all regenerate, because that makes the game easier to play. Damage settings. It's in this section that you can effectively turn off or on PvP, as well as how much damage is done in those settings. For example, if you want your PvP to be enabled, you could just set the damage friendly fire settings to 1 or more if you want more damage. Player settings. This one obviously relates to the player, the people that join your server as actual players, not just the NPCs. You can adjust things again like XP gain, as well as how much life you have, as well as how much stamina you have, so on and so forth. There's a ton of different things that can be edited to make your gameplay easier or harder, depending on what you want to do. Icon settings. If you're like me, you're one of the types that doesn't necessarily like the pesky icons getting in the way of me playing a game. What I mean to say is, you can adjust these settings to change how many icons appear and at what distances they do so. Building settings. This one is all about your buildings. Things like how your constructions decay and how many animals can spawn in their total quantity. Just a reminder, each setting comes with a description for you to learn. Guild settings. Last but not least is the guild settings, which is effectively your clan in other games. It's the team that you want to build with your friends, depending on how many players are on your server, or if you just want to have a clan or guild in general. Once you're satisfied with all of these changes, don't forget to hit the green Save Changes button down at the bottom in order to officially save the changes. Now, what you need to do is take note that it says the settings have been saved successfully up at the top, and head back into your dashboard, and like always, make sure that you restart the server with the green Start Server button in order to get these changes updated onto your server. Once the servers restart, you'll be good to go. Conclusion. Well, hopefully you found this guide helpful, and if you have any other questions, let us know. If you happen to like this video, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, and ringing that notification bell. That way we know this is the type of content that you like to see. Until next time.